how my mom stares at me when I don't want a food I've disliked since I was 4. But really, why? Like, I kind of get it a little bit when my dad kind of forgets, because I have 3 siblings, right? And growing up, our mom cooked. So she always had like fairly good track of who didn't like what and who was allergic to what, maybe. My dad keeps forgetting which of his children eat meat and which don't, because to be fair, I don't and one of my siblings don't. But he always forgets which children. And I kinda get it, but it still baffles me. But if she spent her entire life making you food and you never liked the food, why would it be different now? Did she really think you were gonna outgrow the tism and suddenly like it? Sure, okay. Hello BabyQueers and welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute since we've done neurodivergent memes, cause, well, Pride Month and people don't like queer people, so I had to do a lot of queer videos. Unfortunately, right? But anyways, we're back with neurodivergent memes, because why the hell not? Like, how many queer people are neurodivergent, so we gotta do both. To keep the balance. But anyways, you know the deal. Before we continue, y'all gotta get hydrated. So grab some water, or some tea, or whatever else you like to drink, and then we'll continue. In the meantime, also feel free to like and subscribe. Do you have your drink? Okay, let's go. Thresher sharks look like how I feel heading to any social gathering. You know, it's giving somehow simultaneously terrified and worried and also just awkward. How can a shark look this awkward? But I'm very proud of them for looking this awkward. Like, honestly, it's impressive how awkward they look. But also, yes, that's why I try to avoid it. And usually people will like figure out fairly quickly that I'm not the most social person. Like, some gatherings are fine, you know, but others, like, especially if it's like a work thing with like colleagues that you're not close to, that you like really have to ask around or something, or feel like you have to. No, I will look exactly like this shark. I took my little brother, who's autistic and mostly nonverbal, out, and he was using his voice keyboard to tell me something. And this little boy, who's maybe 4 or 5, heard him and asked me, "Is he a robot?" I tried to explain to him that no, he isn't a robot, he just communicates differently, but my darling brother was in the background, max volume. I am robot, I am robot, I am robot, I am robot. But who could resist? I'm so sorry, but I would have done the same thing. Because, I mean, little kids love robots, usually, and get really excited about it. And would just think it's really cool, you know, if you're getting the feeling they might be scared of robots, maybe not. But who could have resisted? If someone asks if they're a robot, who could have resisted? You know, like if it's an adult asking, it would be like really condescending and rude. But if it's a child asking, it's really just like cute because they're curious, you know? So if it's a child, I would have had this exact reaction of just being like, oh yes, I am robot. I am robot. Just, of course. I just want a bar where I can pour my own drink and have music at a normal volume and there are no people and it's my house. Actually, thank you, it's just my house. Like going to the grocery shop or like anywhere to get the drinks, already too much. I would prefer someone deliver them. But having people and having someone else like make your drink and you maybe don't like how they're doing it is already an issue. The people and the noise and everything, no. But drinking at home, maybe yes. But drink responsibly, y'all. Anxiety disorders, now only $45. I don't mean to brag, but mine was for free. Yeah, you just got it as an add-on to your tism, and now you're stuck with it, really. But Why would anyone pay $45 for it? That's such a scam. That is literally a scam. Like, giving it away for free, already rude, right? Already sucky. But charging people money for it? That is not okay. Me watching everyone else handle life like they've got the tutorial I skipped. This is me in a video game, because I will skip the tutorial and then be screwed because I have no idea what I'm doing. But the problem is, this is also me in life, and I can't just like go back and look at the tutorial, or I can't like look up instructions online. Well, you can look up instructions for a lot of things, but a lot of them will like be WikiHow type of kind of very unhelpful, you know. So doing it in a video game, fine. Skipping tutorials in video games, sure, why not? You know, if you're screwed, you can just always go back. But in life, it's a lot trickier. Naughty autistics get put in the sensory nightmare collar. Why are we promoting literal torture devices? Literally. I mean, first of all, it doesn't even look cool, right? You know how like some accessories you put on because they look cool, even though you know they're gonna be sensory hell? This is a legitimate torture device. If anyone tries to put this on you, just go to the police, I guess. Maybe my texts bother them, so they don't reply. I should just stop texting. Hey, thanks for the memes, just lifted my mood up. Love you. You know, if you're aware that some of your friends might have like rejection sensitive dysphoria, sending the occasional message like this might be a good idea, because I know we're all busy, so you might not always react to everything they send you, or like react more than just like liking it or sending a laugh emoji to it or something. But you know, if you know someone is maybe a little bit sensitive about it and like tends to worry that they're just bothering people, maybe just reminding them that, hey, it's actually really appreciated, I just don't always have the time or the energy to text more about it, might be a good idea. How to not get diagnosed with autism. Get good grades in school and people please your entire life, then no one will ever notice. And if you ever bring it up, no one's gonna believe you either. But that's not necessarily a good thing. Like, if you're trying not to get diagnosed, and if you're trying to make life way more difficult for yourself, then yes, do this, I guess. I kind of already failed at this because I'm good at people pleasing, right? Well, I'm not necessarily good at it, but I do it a lot. But I didn't get that good grades. Like, I did okay, but I also had no energy to study, so I didn't study, so it was okay, but I didn't get good grades, so I think I already failed at this plan. I mean, it's not a good plan to begin with, but I still failed at it, I guess. Me, when I got the needing to comment on everything autism instead of the being good at math or science autism. Why did I get this one? No one knows. Why did I get the gets incredibly mad and overstimulated immediately as soon as like one person talks to me autism? I don't know. I didn't get to pick. I just got like a random thing yeeted at me when I was created, I guess, and this one unfortunately stuck. But oh well. I guess we're gonna deal with it somehow. I'm tired and brain is soup. This has legitimately been my mood for the past month. And fun fact, someone showed this meme to me like 1.5 weeks ago. But I was sitting next to this person, so they just like showed it to me on their phone. And I didn't think I would ever find it, but then I finally found it again, and I'm glad I did, because it's adorable, but it's also my mood a lot, especially this month, because why warm? And why warm make me not sleep immediately? So this is already me, I did not need to sleep even less and be more tired and have more soup for brains, but I guess we needed to. Some people may call it multitasking. I call it doing something else until I remember what I was going to do in the first place. It might be multitasking. You know, you might still get several things done. What you call it at the end of the day is entirely up to you, but yeah, I mean, as long as you remember to finish any of the tasks you're gonna start, might be preferable, I guess, if you actually remember to finish at some point. Title of the month, Staying Alive. Also, saw this the same day someone showed me the soup brain meme. We were in a bookstore at a train station because we had time to kill. And we saw this and had to take a picture of it, obviously, because that's just the mood. I don't know what this book is about, to be honest. I did not check, but the title seems very fair for title of the month. I'm crossing things off my to-do list. I didn't do them, I just don't want them on my list anymore. You know, like some things you just have on your list and you just keep pushing it back. And at some point you just decide to screw it and delete it. Or like, actually, if you have a paper list, just cross it off, it's fine. Maybe don't do this with actually important things, but some things, like if you promised yourself you were gonna clean the windows and you just keep putting it off, if you actually like don't do that, so what? So what, literally. Like more important things like doing the dishes or cleaning your bathroom might not be preferable if you just like cross them off, even though you probably really don't want to do them. But if it's unimportant, like cleaning windows or whatever, it's fine. And also, if you say you've never done this, I'm not gonna believe you, actually. What doesn't kill you makes you the proud owner of a bunch of unhealthy coping mechanisms and an alarmingly dark sense of humor. But they're your unhealthy coping mechanisms, you know? And if you're anything like me, like I keep bouncing back and forth between I should stop doing this, it's not that healthy, and well, it could be worse. I'm not doing drugs or getting drunk every day, so it could be worse, right? It could also be better, sure, but looking at the state of everything, does it matter that much? But ultimately, you have to kind of decide. Like, maybe if you somehow manage to replace them with healthier ones, it is good, you know, like it's a good idea to not give up on it and just decide, oh, well, they're my unhealthy coping mechanism. I worked hard for these, you know, so I'm gonna keep them. It's not always the healthiest mindset, but if you're just stressing yourself out with how unhealthy your coping mechanisms are and making you do them more, like, that's not gonna be productive either, you know, but still, if it's really, really harmful to your health, maybe looking for a healthier one fairly soon might be a good idea still. Forget about long story short. I'm going to start saying short story long and take you on a journey you never asked for. You know, some autistic people really got the I'm gonna talk you into the ground version of autism. I got the traumatized people-pleasing one that I can't actually do this unless I'm really, really tired, because if I'm really, really tired, I'm not gonna be masking anymore, which is somewhat fascinating, but unfortunately I'm exhausted, but I can't be that tired lately, I guess. But if you want to go on a short story long and just go on side tangents and bring in information that's somehow relevant but also really isn't, I'm kind of gonna be here for it. When the interest fades and now you're stuck with a bunch of stuff, I got too hyper. Listen, again, if you're neurodivergent and you say you haven't been there, especially if you have ADHD, I don't really believe you. Because I think every ADHD person has done this at least once. Like, even if you try to be careful with your spending and if you try to keep your money together, this has still happened at some point. Because, yeah, we just get too excited. That's just part of it, you know? And then you're kind of stuck trying to either, like, gift them to someone or trying to give it away or just hope the interest comes back, you know, and just, like, keep a bunch of random stuff from, like, different hyperfixations you had. Yeah. Oh, well. My grandpa. That was no autism back in my day. Grandpa, here's where I keep assorted lengths of wire. Sure, Grandpa. I know where I got my autism from, Grandpa. You know, but just because you didn't have a name for it, just because you didn't knew it was autism, doesn't mean it wasn't a thing. It was just, oh yeah, that's Jim. Jim's a little peculiar. Yeah, Jim's not all there just because he acts differently or doesn't adhere to social rules. You know, it wasn't autism, it was a lot of different things that you called it, but that doesn't mean it's not actually autism. But no, sure, it's very normal to sort all your wires like this. Why are you keeping wires? Will you ever need them? No, but you love keeping these. And you're gonna lose your mind if someone puts them somewhere wrong. Or moves them. Which I get, because I hate people touching my stuff because they never put it back right. But still, no, it's not autism, sure. When your social battery ran out, but you can't leave yet. Or maybe you already got to the place you needed to go with that mood. Because I kind of feel like that's me a lot of the time, of just being like, why am I here? This is me every time I go to work, by the way. I'll just be sitting there and put my headphones in because everyone's talking and chattering and banging their mugs on the table for no reason, you know? For as long as I can remember, I felt a deep, heavy sense of loneliness. True. Wrong. You have selected the wrong answer. This is how it feels to talk to my parents about my mental health. Because same with, oh, we've never had autism, like that's such a new thing. They will also pull this with mental health in general. Like, yeah, sometimes people randomly killed themselves or disappeared, but no, we didn't have mental health issues back in the day. Sure. And specifically, parents like pulling the, oh, you're fine. You just need to pull yourself together. Which is neither true nor helpful in any sense, actually. Me, I'm overwhelmed. Also me, I want to expand my garden, get chickens, start beekeeping, bake my own bread, grow flowers, and be completely self-sufficient. But it sounds like it's gonna be fun. Like, it's one of those things that's very easy to romanticize, I think, to just, like, be self-sufficient. But it might not even have to do that. Be all that. Yeah, you don't even have to be, oh, I want to be self-sufficient. But even just saying, oh yeah, no, I want to, I don't know, make my own oat milk. Which is very easy to do. It's very easy and quick. But having to do it regularly, if you already have no energy because you're already overwhelmed by life and having to work or, you know, just being disabled, it gets too much very quickly. And then you usually be like, well, if I'm making my own oat milk, I can like bake my own bread as well. And I can do like other things, which in theory is all fine and easy to do. And you're just like, well, while the bread is like in the oven, I can do other things, but it's not gonna work. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to do this. But at the end of the day, even neurotypical people will fall off the wagon with that kind of thing a lot because, well, life gets busy. But if you're a disabled person, it's just gonna be even harder. I mean, you could try, like, I'm not gonna stop you because I'm gonna do it myself again and again. Even though I technically know it's not gonna work long term, but you know, for a while at least it might work. Can you have my undivided attention? Look, buddy, not even I can have my undivided attention, okay? Just deal with it. You're gonna get divided attention at best. Take it or leave it. You know, if you're just gonna be complaining about it the entire time, then you might as well not have my attention at all, because if you're just like whining in my ear, I'm not gonna pay attention at all. You know, I'm gonna find a way to either get out of the conversation or just like I figured out, like unfortunately I tried blocking someone on like Microsoft Teams. That does not work, but you can mute the chat so you don't get the incessant messages they send you because they find random things interesting. And just be like, oh, but this person is shit talking that other person in the office right now. Do I care? No. Do I have the time or energy for it? No. I could make time for it, but do I have the energy for it? No, absolutely not. So some people can't have your attention at all. Most people will never have your undivided attention, including ourselves. So, you know, if you're gonna be whining about it, just don't do it at all, you know? My mom was dying. A friend told me, you have your whole life to freak out about this, don't do it in front of her. It really helped me to understand that my feelings are not always what's important. It is possible to delay a freak out, and that skill has served me innumerable times. And we have some comments to this. I told my therapist I was going to ruin everything, and she said, you don't have that much power, and that statement has always felt so freeing to me. A customer saw me watching the clock on my shift and said, don't wish your life away, dear. I mean, I know how it feels like, especially if you have really strong emotions. In that moment, it can feel very impossible to delay a freak out, because honestly, if you're just like actually having a meltdown or a shutdown, it's not gonna work anymore. It's literally not gonna work. But asking silly questions, it's kind of giving the vibes of like someone was crying in therapy and that therapist just looked at them and was like, but are you really sad? And they were so confused by it that they just stopped crying. You know, sometimes it works. And maybe it helps if you remind yourself of these things if you're in a good mood. Because yeah, in that moment when you're just like freaking out about something, you're probably not going to remember that it's probably not going to be important in 10 minutes. You know? Daily affirmations. I am kind. I am in control of my emotions. It does not bother me when someone is in the kitchen while I was planning to be there alone. Everyone in the house has the right to be in the kitchen. I am kind and in control of my emotions, even when someone else is in the kitchen while I was planning to be in there alone. Do you live with neurotypical people? Like, even if you live with other, like, neurodivergent people, they might still do this sometimes to me in the kitchen when you are planning to be there alone. But at least, if you're close enough, you can say something like, can you please go away? Like, I know you really want to tell me about your day or this cool thing that happened or about your special interest, but I really don't have the energy right now. Like, can you please leave? In however many or little words, you know? And they'll probably understand, even if they're gonna be sad about it a little bit, right? But if you live with neurotypical people, they're just gonna be like, no, like, just make your drink. You just wanted to make a drink. Like, why do you need to be alone for that? And just like not get it, but I feel this. Just like thinking you have more time before someone else comes home. Not because you're doing something that you technically need to be alone for. Like, you're literally just baking cake or making a drink or cooking coffee or whatever. But you needed to be alone for it. Is something that a lot of neurotypical people will probably never understand. You know, like, that's kind of maybe the difference between introverts. Like, introverts might love being home alone, and they love doing things alone, but they're probably not gonna freak out this much about not being able to be alone in the kitchen because someone else had the audacity to be in the shared kitchen. You know? Anyways, that was all the memes and posts to call all of us out. I guess, because I apparently can't stop doing that. No matter how many times I feel called out, I'm just gonna continue calling me and probably a lot of you out. You're welcome, I guess. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed being called out. I hope you're hydrated, especially since it's summer and way too warm. If not, maybe go drink something now, and I'll be back in a few days with my next video.